Yesterday, I saw this video where this black mom was telling her biracial child about racism and why people may be prejudiced towards her, as well as why people don't like mommy. And I saw these comments in the comment section. Quite frankly, this comment makes sense, but I'm going to go with my own experience because on my channel, I tell you my real life experiences. However, this is not a comfortable subject for me because I just feel like the perpetrators of racism, they want you to be bothered. They want you to keep talking about them. They want, in fact, it's like they enjoy your misery, and it will never be me. However, just so that you guys can understand why, as a black parent, it is in your own interest to educate your child. So one time I was at home, my child was just 4 years old. He came home and he was like, "Mommy, you're a foreigner." Now, anybody can say, okay, what's wrong with them saying, "Mommy, you're a foreigner"? Don't forget that this was playgroup. Okay, this is kindergarten where kids are meant to play. They don't teach them anything other than fun. So what conversation could they have had at school amongst kids that would have led to such a remark? Anyway, but that was the day I decided that no, instead of people outside telling my child about me, it was in my interest for me to tell my child what it was. So, and I didn't want to introduce the topic of race. Instead, I bought him a book titled The History of Africa. If you're looking for it, it's on Amazon. They have the kids version. So I bought it for him and I began to read it to him because I wanted him to make his own assessment of whatever it was that he heard. So there was no need for me to tell him about races. However, my son used to call white people yellow people, and then one day he comes home and he was like, white people, black people. And I'm like, and that's the thing, even when you don't teach your children these things, they tell them outside who they are. So it's impossible for a black person, it's impossible. And not to also mention the fact that when I was integrating my second child into school, thanks to God, the head of the school was like, the two of them should be in the same class because they are the only two black kids in their school. So it was a very nice idea. And then the policy of the school is that you have to stay with your kids in the classroom for as long as they get integrated so that they don't cry. So I was in class with my second child for about 1 week and a half. I would resume school with him and close with him so that he doesn't cry. Do you know that the whole period I was in school, my child raised up his hands in the classroom to answer questions or to start the morning games? They never picked him. In fact, when it was time for the activities to start, kids were not picking him. Shout out to one of his friends. You know, this is how you know that despite the fact we say, okay, everyone isn't racist, the truth is the anomaly, they are very, very, like when you say little, they are few. Because there was only one child who kept on saying, Austin is there, like pointing at my child that they should pick him. And I'm sure the only reason the teachers actually said someone should actually go to my son was because I was present in the classroom. So you can imagine what happens behind my back. So the reason why I'm saying this is because it's easy for people who live on the continent like Africa. I have noticed it. Whenever this conversation about racism is being spoken, they make it seem like, oh, we are ungrateful. See, when I was in Africa, I knew that my only problem was how to make it in life. But here, even when you make it, you have to think of, it's almost like you're living in, when it's okay as an adult because of course you're aware of what you're going through, all right? But how do you explain it to your kids without you telling them about race? So when I see comments like this, I just feel like you need to live in, like you need to be in the person's shoes to understand why these conversations are important. Because the absence of these conversations, you're just damaging your children's childhood. Because when your kids understand it, I think they are able to forge ahead on knowing what's going on, as opposed to them having awkward experiences without understanding why it's happening to them.